Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about an article that was written by Aaron Schatz of ESPN.com. Now, Aaron Schatz was tasked with projecting bold moves in free agency and the NFL draft for all 32 NFL teams. It's one move per team, okay? And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on this list, and I will say this. It is probably tough to write something about all 32 teams, right? I will say that 100%. But the move that Mr. Schatz wrote for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I disagree with wholeheartedly. He wrote that the bold move the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should make this offseason is cutting Rachaad White. Backup running back, fringe kind of starting running back for the Bucs. I'm going to read what Aaron Schatz said, and we're going to kind of talk about it. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions about it, but right off the jump, I disagree with that in no way, shape, or form. Should they get rid of Rachaad White this offseason? I still think he is a very, very good player. He's done a lot of good things for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we're going to dive into it a little bit here as we read. But the Buccaneers enter free agency with only $2.2 million in cap space. That is not true. According to Over the Cap, they have $8.3 million. I will give Aaron Schatz the benefit of the doubt here. This was written 2 days ago. That might have been before that news came out that the salary cap was going up and by how much money that salary cap was going up. But that number is not accurate. It's not 2.2 million. It is 8.3 million, about 8.4 million, according to overthecap.com. Okay. They need to make some room, and one way to do it is to say goodbye to White. Okay, that is technically accurate. The running back is entering the final year of his rookie contract, so the Buccaneers can cut him for $3.3 million in cap savings with less than $250,000 in dead money. To be honest, that's not a huge chunk of savings. I mean, who else are you going to bring in for $3.3 million? Are you going to bring in as talented of a running back as Rachaad White for $3.3 million? Probably not, in my opinion. Are you going to bring in any other starting caliber player? I mean, like starting caliber player, even fringe starting caliber player for $3.3 million? Probably not, right? Probably not. I mean, like the best you could probably do with that money is maybe it means you could re-sign like Greg Gaines or Anthony Nelson, which I like both those guys, but they're not starting caliber types of players. So yes, that is technically true. You would save money from cutting Rachaad White, but it's not really a substantial, significant amount of money to justify making that move, in my opinion. White is still a useful player, but he gradually lost the number one spot to Bucky Irving in 2024. Yes, that is true. That is true. Bucky Irving, we all know and love how great Bucky Irving has been. He was a 1,000-yard rusher for the Buccaneers this past season, had 392 receiving yards this past year, but in that same sentence, it is said that White is still a useful player, and I agree. Rachaad White had 613 rushing yards this year, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had 393 receiving yards this past year, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Guys, that was third on the team this past season, okay? Let's keep on going. White had positive rushing yards over expected according to NFL Next Gen Stats, but he was far behind Irving. White had 0.34 rushing yards over expected per carry, while Irving was at 0.94 rushing yards over expected per carry. White was an excellent receiving back, I agree, ranking 5th in total receiving value by my DYAR metric, but Irving was 8th. The Buccaneers need to save money somewhere, and this is where it wouldn't hurt too much. Okay. I disagree with all of this, pretty much. I mean, you can't say that White is a useful player and then say, well, it wouldn't hurt that bad to cut Rachaad White, because, Bucky Irving's around, right? Like, the Bucs can have 2 good running backs, and they're both making not a ton of money, right? Where else would it not hurt too much is by restructuring Baker Mayfield's contract, restructuring Tristan Wirfs' contract, restructuring Antoine Winfield Jr.'s contract. There are a ton of different, safer, better ways for the Buccaneers to save money than cutting one of their better offensive skill position players, in my opinion. Just because Bucky Irving is doing really good doesn't mean you just need to automatically get rid of Rachaad White, right? It seemed like the Buccaneers offense did pretty darn good when both those guys were on the field getting touches and whatnot. So I imagine that the Bucs would probably want to continue that going forward. If I had to give some type of a bold move for the Buccaneers, I'd probably say, hey, go out and sign a Josh Sweat or go out and trade for a Trey Hendrickson. And no offense to Aaron Schatz, again, I understand it's difficult to write, you know, a move for all 32 teams, right? I completely understand that. But this to me just shows a very clear lack of insight on what's going on in the Buccaneers organization, how they were able to find success offensively this past year, because it's very surface level to say Bucky Irving good, Bucky Irving so good, no need Rachaad White, right? Like that's such a surface level thing without actually looking deeper and just sitting there for a second and saying, well, can't teams technically have two good running backs? I mean, isn't that like fair to say? I mean, by that logic, like the Chiefs should have never signed Kareem Hunt, right? Because Isaiah Pacheco good, you know. I mean, for goodness sakes, man. I mean, it's just it's weird. It's weird vibes. I mean, so if teams are, again, that's just it's mind-boggling. I can't put it into words, right? How mind-boggling it is, but it just is. Cutting Rachaad White really doesn't do anything for the Bucs. Okay, it doesn't. I mean, it saves them a very small amount of money in the grand scheme of things. You're not going to be able to go out and get a Josh Sweat for $3.3 million. You're not going to be able to go out and get some, even a fringe starting caliber player who does get some starting opportunities like Rachaad White on the offensive or defensive side of the ball for $3.3 million, in my opinion. And it's just very surface level, this take to me, to say, well, Bucky Irving is really good, so they don't need Rachaad White. I mean, like, do they, like, yes, they do. They do. I mean, like, it's fine to have Rachaad White. I would have probably said, hey, the bold move is that they go out and sign Josh Sweat, or the bold move is that they go out and trade for Trey Hendrickson, or sign Hassan Reddick, or something, right? Because that was said for other teams. That was said for other teams in terms of like getting pass rush type of guys. Like the Carolina Panthers was doubling down on the pass rush. Why couldn't the Bucs have something similar like that? Or trading for Myles Garrett would be a bold projection or something. Like. Just not a great take here. Not a great take in my opinion. The Buccaneers are not going to be cutting Rachaad White under any circumstances, nor should they. So, weird take in my opinion. It is what it is. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.